Football is a simple game.
22 men chase a ball around a pitch for 90 minutes.
And at the end,
Germany has to watch England win on penalties.
Hi guys, it's Dania from Kick Off Life. So the round of 16 is over, and what a round of 16 it was. If this is any indication of what's going to happen going forward, we are in for a real football treat. If you didn't tune in to our last episode, we did a prediction on what we thought was going to happen in the round of 16. And now we're going to do a prediction on what we think is going to happen in the next round. And if you did tune into us, you know that there's nobody better to do predictions with than our man, Oli Moody. He is in Russia right now, and he's going to give us some insight on what he thinks is going to happen and who he thinks is going to move forward. So, let's go to Oli. Hi, Oli.
Hi, Dania. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about you? How's it going in Russia right now?
Oh, it's great. You know, what a round of 16 we had there. The weather could be a little better, but other than that, it's pretty good.
So you got a pretty good view behind you there.
Yeah, lovely. The Luzhniki Stadium where Russia beat Spain just a few days ago. Also where the final will be, along with one of the semi-finals. So a real hub of the action here in Moscow.
Oh my goodness, unbelievable. Speaking of Russia beating Spain, I see that was the only prediction you had that you didn't get right. What happened there?
Yeah, the Russians just keep surprising me, you know. They were the lowest ranked team at the tournament at the start, and nobody expected them to get this far. And certainly I didn't expect them to beat Spain. You know, 2010 champions, such a good team, so many talented players, but the hosts just keep shocking everybody. The atmosphere they've got's great, the attitude that the team's got's great. And, it's difficult to bet against them now, right?
Yeah, they have the home crowd advantage. I mean, I got that game wrong, too. I was pretty convinced that Spain was going to win. I even said it in the last show. I was like, please don't let me down, Spain. But, you know, it happens, right? I see here you got 2-0 for Brazil. You got that right on. Everyone's pretty impressed with that.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, hold on.
No, I'm pretty pleased with my predictions.
Yeah, I think we are too. I just have to, unfortunately, change your prediction here and take the Spain flag off and put this one in for Russia. Sorry. Okay.
Well.
So.
Nobody can get everything right.
I know, it's okay. You did pretty well. All right, I think we should start talking now about the next round and what you think is going to happen. Let's see if you can get all of these games spot on this time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's give it a go.
All right, so we got first France versus Uruguay. What are you thinking about this game, first off? I'm pretty excited about it.
I can't wait to watch this game. Uruguay, one of the most impressive teams at the tournament for me. Such a stubborn defense we knew they'd have with the likes of Godin and Jimenez. And with those two forwards as well, Cavani and Suarez, the question was always, will they be able to get them playing together? Will they both be able to fire at the same time? And certainly in the last game we saw that they could. That first goal that they scored against Portugal, the galactic 1-2 between Cavani and Suarez, and then that thumping header, just glorious to watch. So yeah, Uruguay I think have been really impressive. But France, hey, that last game against Argentina, finally they started firing. That was the France team we were expecting to see at this tournament. Kylian Mbappe are absolutely nailing it. What a matchup this is going to be. You know what, I think France, I said in my predictions that they're the best team in the world on paper. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to lose. I think Uruguay are going to beat them.
Viva!
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
What do you think about Uruguay's midfield, though? Because France has such a strong mid, you know, Pogba, Kanté, and Uruguay's is maybe their weaker point, let's say. So what do you think about the matchup there in the middle?
Yeah, definitely France has the far stronger midfield. But, you know, the Uruguay midfield has done a good job so far of kind of facilitating. I think Torreira has played well when he's been used. And they've got a lot of experience in midfield as well. Christian Rodriguez and so on. So I think they'll manage the French midfield rather than trying to go toe-to-toe with them. I think they'll just try and stop Pogba from rampaging. And, you know, I think I think they can do a good job of that, and I think if they'll get the support that they need from the defence. You know, the defence is so strong and so stubborn, and I think really the main task is to give an extra shield to them, and just to try and get the ball forward to the front too, because those guys are so talented that if they create the opportunities for them, they'll take them. You know, Suarez has been so creative as well as such a good finisher at this tournament, and Cavani has got up to speed as well. So I think France definitely does have the advantage in midfield, but I think Uruguay can negate that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to happen. And I think it's going to be close. I think it'll go to extra time even, but I think it'll be 2-1 to Uruguay.
2-1 to Uruguay. All right. All right. So what we have next, I think this is the matchup that everybody's looking forward to the most, maybe, because it's almost like a final in itself. Brazil and Belgium, like the two attacking forces that we've seen. So what do you think about these two teams and the matchup between them?
Yeah, this is the big flare tie, isn't it? This is the game with all of the big, kind of, as you said, attacking players. You've got Eden Hazard, you've got Kevin De Bruyne, you've got Neymar, Firmino, Gabriel Jesus. So many good attacking players. And to be fair, Brazil's defence has been very good at this tournament as well, I think. So, it's a really great match to have in the quarterfinals. Two really good games to get us started with in the quarterfinals. This time, I mean, I picked Brazil as my favourites for the tournament if Neymar was fit and firing. We saw in the last round that Neymar is getting up to speed. So I'm sticking with my original prediction. I'm saying Brazil will beat Belgium and make it through to the next round.
I think that's a pretty good prediction. I think I'm pretty much going to agree with you there. But what do you think, though, about the impact that Lukaku can have against the Brazilian defense? Because, okay, they have been very good, but we have seen a couple of times where they've been a little shaky. So maybe against an attacking threat like Belgium, do you think that it will be enough to create problems for the typically, pretty standard, solid Brazilian defense?
Yeah, I mean, look, Lukaku is a great striker, and we've seen two different sides of him at this tournament. In the group stage, he was just banging in the goals, one after the other.
Yeah.
What we saw in the last game, particularly right at the end of the last game against Japan, that counter-attack, was some phenomenal movement, not to create a chance for himself, but to create space for his teammates. It was his run in from the wing to the middle that created the room for the cross out wide. And then what an insane dummy to throw to give Neza Chadli the chance to finish. So we've seen him as a team player there, as well as the finisher that we saw in the group stage. And obviously he's got the strength, the power, the pace. He's got the game intelligence as well, like the smartness on the ball that we saw in the last match, or off the ball even as well. And so he can definitely cause a lot of problems for Brazil. But, Miranda and Thiago Silva, they're both very wily, very experienced defenders. They've been around the block many, many, many times. And I think if anybody knows how to handle a player like Lukaku, I think it'll be those two.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think also, I mean, even though Lukaku, we've seen probably a little bit recently, he has a tendency to drift in and out of games. I think, like you said, his movement for the goal was absolutely ridiculous. He comes out a little bit, then he makes the run in, opens up the space, spatial awareness to let them to know that Chadli was behind him. It was just, for me, that was fantastic. I mean, as an attacking player myself, I just really appreciated that. So, but all right.
To do all that in the 93rd minute as well is really impressive as well. Let's not forget he'd been running around for an hour and a half, and he still had the wherewithal to do both of those things, which were both so clever. Huge credit to him. Yeah,
definitely speaks volumes about him and the whole Belgian side. But, okay, I guess, what do you think the score is going to be in this one?
It's another really, really tight one. I am going to go... I think this will be a big scoring one. I think this will be 3-2.
3-2. Ooh,
3-2
that will
to
be
Brazil.
That will be an interesting game to watch.
Yeah, indeed.
All right, 3-2 Brazil. All right. Moving on to the more, let's say, the shock side of the bracket, with a lot of things happening that we did not expect. This first matchup here, we have Russia against Croatia.
Mm-hmm.
Two very different teams. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, two teams that you would not have thought would have made it to this stage. Croatia are super talented. Like, we forget that sometimes because they're not considered up in the upper echelons like some of the teams we've just been talking about. But when you think about Modric, Rakitic, Rebic up top has really come into form towards the end of the Bundesliga season. Mandzukic, really smart striker. You've got so much talent in there, Perisic as well. So this is a really good team. We shouldn't forget that. Russia, on paper, you would not say the same thing about at all. You would look at those players. I looked at those players before the tournament and said they're not good enough to get out of a group that contains Egypt to Saudi Arabia. So, I think a lot has been based on the home support, the atmosphere that they've managed to generate. It's been incredible because a lot of people in Russia didn't fancy them to do anything at this tournament. A lot of people were saying they weren't even really going to watch the Russia games because they didn't think that Russia would be able to win anything. That has just been flipped on its head completely. Everybody's behind the national team. I was on Nikolskaya Street, one of the main streets in central Moscow, here a few nights back after the victory over Spain, and it was electric. People just shouting "Russia" all night long into the early hours of the morning. I've never seen anything like it. I was in Brazil 4 years ago, and even there I didn't see anything on the same level as this. It was phenomenal, and that is what has pushed them on, I think. That being said, even though I keep betting against Russia and they keep embarrassing me, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to say one more time that Russia can't do it. I think it's going to go again to penalties.
Ooh, my goodness. That's going to be...
And although Russia won on penalties last time, I don't think they'll win it this time. Croatia, of course, also won on penalties in their last game. A lot of good penalty takers in that team, so yeah. I'm backing Croatia on penalties.
I think this World Cup speaks volumes to the fact that the best team doesn't necessarily win in the sense that the players they have on paper, they don't necessarily win. I think it comes down to how well you play as a team, how well you stick to your system, and believe in the system and what the plan that you guys have and you set out to accomplish. And I think Russia, frustrating Spain, not letting them create anything. Spain looked like they were playing a possession game with no goals. So Russia,
absolutely.
Huge credit to Russia for their performance and what they did. I like that they're really stepping up to the occasion here. So. But I'm going to agree with you.
Yeah, and it's definitely improved the atmosphere here through the tournament that Russia have made it a long way. I think if they'd gone out with a whimper in the group stage, it would have been perhaps a different story here. Yeah. So it's nice that they've given their fans something to cheer and that the host nation has been able to really get stuck into the tournament.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think this is finally going to be the end of the road. But I'll be there in Sochi. We're heading to Sochi for the game.
Oh.
So perhaps if any Russians watch this video and then see me at Sochi after the game, they can come and tell me how wrong I was.
All right, so what do you think the score will be?
Yeah, I would go with 1-1.
1-1.
During the game, and then penalties.
Okay. All right, now, last game we have here is Sweden against England. I have a big question for you right now. Do you think it's coming home?
Of course it's coming home. What a question. It's definitely coming home. No, I mean, look, it's great just for England to win a knockout game because that hadn't happened for quite a long time. And to win on penalties as well. First time that's ever happened at the World Cup. First time it's happened in any competition for England since Euro '96, which was the first time I experienced true football tragedy as an Englishman. So that was a sort of cathartic kind of experience watching the game last night at Spartak Stadium, and seeing England win on penalties. That was really something.
Oh my goodness, I can't even imagine. I mean, I feel like, you know, I come from Canada. There's a lot of English people in Canada. Canada and England have a, you know, long history together. So a lot of people back home were happy. I don't know what you think, but I think seeing Southgate as a coach, I really like him. I think he's likable. I think he's very humble. And I think that it's had a big impact on the England squad. What do you think about the impact that he's had and what he's been able to do with the team?
Definitely. I think Gareth Southgate, the real impression I get from him is that he's a man who understands what's really important.
Yeah.
In football and generally, you know, there are a lot of stories about him, even back when he was coaching Middlesbrough in England, where, you know, journalists say he would, you know, introduce him to all the players and really take time to give proper interviews and things like this, and not just go through the usual kind of, you know, trained answers and whatnot. And you know, he understands that you've got to get kids really enthused in football with everything you do, especially with the national team. He just gets it, basically. And I think he's managing to pass that on to the national team as well, to the players. I think what we're seeing from them is that they've got a much better attitude than we've had at previous tournaments. You know, we've had more talented teams in the past. Mm-hmm. If you look back to, say, 2006, for example, when you had Lampard and Gerrard at their pomp, you had, God, who else? You had Rooney. You know, you had so many good players in that team. Campbell, Ferdinand, Ashley Cole. There were so many good players, and yet England still couldn't get it together. Now, with good players in the team, but perhaps not as talented, the attitude among the squad just seems to be much better, and I think a lot of that, in fact, probably all of it, is down to Southgate. It's not going to be easy, because what we've seen from Sweden so far, more than anything else, is that they're very organised and disciplined. I was at the Sweden-Germany game a couple of weeks ago, and they frustrated Germany immensely. Germany just couldn't get behind them for large parts of the game. Yeah. And so they know how to do that. They know how to shut teams out, and I think that is going to play a big part again. Sweden's solid defence. But I still have to go with an England victory. I think it will be a close one again.
Okay.
But perhaps not as close as the other games. I'm going to go 2-0 to England on this one.
All right. 2-0 to England. Okay. I see that it started to rain there.
Yeah, this has been the feature of the last few days in Moscow, unfortunately. That the weather changes every minute, basically. It goes from rain to, you know, in 5 minutes the sun could be shining here. That's kind of how it is.
Well, it's a good thing we finished our predictions then, so we can let you go and you can get out of the rain. But we'll hold you to these predictions. No worries.
Yeah, you'll be checking back after.
Yeah, we'll be checking back in with you. But, all right, we'll let you go, and hopefully you get somewhere dry right now.
All right, thanks a lot. See you later.
See ya. Okay, thanks, Oli, for your predictions. Let's see if he is as accurate as he was last time. I think everybody is pretty excited for these quarterfinals because this World Cup so far has been fantastic. Let's see what happens, and we'd love to know what you guys think. As usual, let us know in the comments below if you think Oli was right, what you think is going to happen, and who you think is going to win the World Cup. Until next time, I'm Dania, and we're from Kickoff Life, and we'll see you later.